since that first time we rode down to the Keys, I knew I wanted to drag the boat down there and explore more. It seemed every time we rode down, we only were able to spend a couple of hours, and then we had to leave. We couldn't spend any real time exploring. We were so excited about this trip, we decided to head out the night before, immediately after work, and drive through the night. It was sort of an exhausting trip, but we made it. We were ready. We spent the day on the water, napping at an anchorage just south of Marathon, and then eventually made our way around to the house that we rented. First launch at the Keys. We're in the Atlantic Ocean outside Marathon. Just came under the 7 Mile Bridge, which you can probably see in the background. And this was riding the jet ski out back. We decided the best path would be to go out on the open ocean. This ended up not being such a great idea. The open ocean was pretty choppy, but being inexperienced, we just sort of went for it. It wasn't too long when we realized that after riding the jet ski around all day that we didn't have enough gas to get to the house. Luckily we had a gas can, but it was sort of interesting trying to fill the jet ski up while rolling around in the waves out in the open ocean. The canal ride took us a little bit longer than we expected. Everything's slow speed, so you just sort of have to idle your way through, and it just takes a long time. But we made it. We were excited to be there. It was a beautiful, beautiful little place. Key Colony Beach is this really cool little community in Marathon that we found. It was one of the few places where we could rent the house for a week rather than a month. Apparently there's a thing in the Keys where you have to rent a house for a month, but we just couldn't afford that and didn't have the time. The advantage of this place is it was on the canal, and it gave us access to the ocean, and it gave us a place to be in the evenings instead of trying to stay on the boat. Our first day out on the water, or next day I guess, we decided to head to Alligator Reef. This was going to be the most adventurous water day we had. It was a trip of 26 miles straight there, but we decided to go around the Gulf side because the open ocean is pretty choppy. This was a really good decision. It was nice and smooth on the Gulf side. We made decent time, I thought, and enjoyed the trip.
Are you guys ready?
Yeah, we're ready. Headed to Alligator
Yeah.
Reef.
Woo! Yay!
That is until we passed under the bridge and got out on the open ocean. And we started to take a pretty heavy-duty beating. It didn't take us too long to figure out that we weren't going to enjoy the day that way, and decided to turn around and head back to Robbie's, where we had lunch and tried to sort out a mechanical issue that we had. After lunch, we decided, well, we'll give it one more go, and we did make it out there the second time, but boy, it was so rough. It was like 3-foot waves every 1 to 2 seconds, and the boat just was lurching. It was crazy. We thought, well, if we get in the water, maybe we won't get as seasick. But it turns out we were still getting seasick in the water. So we didn't spend very long there. We looked around a little bit and headed back. It was a pretty intense day. Overall, we rode about 80 miles and ultimately ran out of gas almost as we got back. Luckily, David was able to bring some gas, and we got it home. For the 4th of July, we decided to head down to Summerland Key. Summerland Key is about 45 minutes south of where we were. So we drove down, it seemed like the better bet, and spent the day on a friend's boat. There's an island there called Picnic Island where the locals hang out. It's a really cool spot. Lots of shallows where you can anchor and walk around. So we spent all day there playing on the jet skis and enjoying the day. They even had the live band with music. Pretty neat place. And then the end of the day, they had this wonderful fireworks show on 2 separate islands. So it was this really cool thing where you're looking to the left and to the right to keep watching the two different fireworks shows that were going on.
Woohoo! Go, Sophie! Ezra.
Yeah.
Video, you're in video. Hey. Hey. Happy core.
As we were walking around the shallows, we discovered these 2 conches, which we picked up and were looking at. At first, we just thought they were empty shells, and Maida was holding the conches in her hands, and then while we were taking the pictures, all of a sudden, one of the conches just decided to reach out and see if if it was safe, and it reached out and touched her on the hand. This gave her quite a start, and luckily I was able to catch this in the pictures. It was pretty fun.
Ready, Sammy?
Hello, Captain.
The next day, after spending the day sort of lounging, we were having dinner, and on a whim we decided, hey, let's run out in the ocean and watch the sunset. We didn't have any idea if it was going to be a good sunset or how it would be, but we thought it would be fun, so we decided to motor out. We were really glad we did. The ocean was glassy calm, just couldn't have been more perfect, so it was an easy run out. And then the sunset was just spectacular. It continued to get more and more spectacular the entire time we were out there. It was just so peaceful to be able to sit there and sort of enjoy the moment and the breeze, watch just the most incredible sunset I think any of us have ever seen. It was such an incredible sunset that we really didn't realize that it wasn't the norm. We thought all sunsets in the Keys were that way. No trip to the Keys would be complete without a trip to Key West. So we made the hour-and-a-half drive down to wander the streets. Key West is very touristy. Parking was insane. It was not the laid-back island that we had sort of gotten used to in Marathon. We found a paid parking lot, parked for the day, and really spent almost the entire day walking. Walked over to the southernmost point with the classic pictures that we're supposed to take there, and then walked back to watch the sunset in Monroe Square. think we were sort of spoiled by the previous sunset, and we had expected like really spectacular things. But the sunset on this day was not a bad sunset, but just certainly not at that level of the day before. So I guess we might have been a little disappointed by it, but overall we had a great day and enjoyed being there. Heading out to Money Key for the day. We were all a bit worn out from all the activities on the 4th and Key West. And so the following day we decided the best bet would be to go find a small island and just hang out in the water. Grill out, swim, be happy. We found an island called Money Key that was sort of next to the highway on the way to Key West. We saw it from the highway and we thought, well, that'll be the perfect spot. So we rode down there, and it turns out there was another island called Molasses Key beforehand, and it looked about to be the same kind of a place. So we decided to go ahead and stop there instead. It was a really cool spot. There was a couple of little islands, a couple of little boat wrecks, which I guess is a bad thing, but it makes it interesting to snorkel around. And we spent the day swimming and snorkeling and listening to music, just sort of being happy. It was like the perfect kind of day on the water. So here we are sitting on, what was it, Molasses Key? Yep. Just a few days after our 23rd anniversary. It's been a celebration of a lifetime, I would say. Lots of fun, many adventures. I think we're decided we absolutely have to come back. It's such a cool place. I'll give you a little panorama here. The kids have had a lot of fun, I think.
Yeah.
My beautiful wife.
Oh gosh, close up, no.
Really dramatic and clear water. Fantastic.
Show your toes. Oh, like the kids cold.
Yeah, the dogs. We gotta let the dogs out. Or as I call them, the doggy doos.
The puppies.
The puppies. We got the puppies out. While we were at Molasses Key, somebody mentioned Sombrero Reef, which up to this point we hadn't even heard of. They said it was a great place to go snorkeling. So we looked it up, and it turns out it was about 6 miles out in the ocean from where we were staying. We were a little apprehensive after our experience at Alligator Reef. I think everybody was a little bit nervous about how intense the ocean could be. But the sea state was supposed to be a lot more calm. I think it was a 1.5 feet every 4 to 5 seconds. So that's sort of a nice rolling wave, and we thought, well, we'll give it a shot. If it's too rough, we'll just turn around and come back. We made the run out there, and it wasn't bad at all. And then the interesting thing is they have all these mooring balls there, so that you don't even have to anchor. I guess probably because they don't want you to tear up the reef. So that made that less stressful. We tied up, and we're able to to spend the day there. The drone video makes it look a little rougher than it is. That's because it's sped up times 2 because otherwise it ends up being boring video. It's a little too slow, but it wasn't that bobbly. It was calm. It was nice with occasional waves that would roll through, but nice moments of calm. So today we're out at Sombrero Reef. It's a lot smoother. I think the waves are maybe 1.5 feet every 4 or 5 seconds, whereas it was 2 to 3, maybe 3.5 the other day at Alligator Reef. So we're really happy because the other day it was so rough at Alligator Reef we just couldn't snorkel. It was impossible. Ezra taking a nap. So hopefully this isn't too rough. It bounces a bit here, but so it's been a lot of fun. It's been a great vacation. You know, a few rough spots, some broken stuff. It always happens, but overall, can't be beat. Anyway, I'm gonna go snorkel. There were tons of fish, absolutely everywhere. Zebrafish and yellowfish and purple fish and just a really incredible thing. And then we even saw a couple of sea turtles and a couple of manta rays. It was just a spectacular thing. My only regret, honestly, is that we didn't realize it was so close and get out there for a couple more days. It was really spectacular. Then, of course, it was a lot of fun to fly the drone around and get the cool video that you can get with the drone. This was sort of our first experience snorkeling, and I think we were all surprised by how much we enjoyed it, and how easy it was to get a long ways away from the boat and not really realize just how far away you were. After swimming around for a good hour or maybe more, we swam back to the boat and noticed that the rope that we had thrown out initially got tied around the prop. We'd thrown it out mostly as something to hang on to, but we quickly left the security of the line and swam further. It wasn't too big a deal, but I was glad I saw it. At the end of the day, it started to look like it was going to storm, and being several miles from shore, we didn't really want to take any chances, so we were pretty wore out anyway, so we hopped in the boat and headed back. It was a nice ride home. We were tired but happy, ready to be back at the house and grill out and have a nice evening.
We made it.
That was pretty sweet docking too.
It's not the high, it's the high temperature from the fluid that's making you do that. So
And then it was over before we knew what happened. We were packing up and driving home. We stopped at Bass Pro Shop in Islamorada, which is a really cool store. They have Hemingway's old boat in there, which was a lot of fun to check out. And then the tarpon pool up back, where you can feed the tarpon if you want. They're just amazing. I think you never see fish this big, and to see them just sort of swimming around like goldfish in a pond, it was just really cool. Of course, Marathon isn't in the beginning of the Keys, so the drive home is just filled with spectacular views, and honestly, we couldn't help but talk about wanting to come back and do it all over again. Hopefully that won't take too long.